What is up, guys? It's Jimbo here and welcome back to another build video. Today is a little bit more of a fun build, not super high edited. We're going to go through this awesome void build that I've been using. Takes advantage of an exotic that you may not have used before. I don't see many people using, and most people use Heart of Inmost Light on these void builds. So yeah, let's waste no time, jump into the build. It's great for champions of all varieties depending on your weapon setup, but it also is very good at dealing with barrier champions, and you create a lot of volatile explosions here as well, so it's got great ad clear too. Let's jump into the subclass though and talk about all the good stuff. So let's first take a look at the Sentinel subclass. We obviously have Ward of Dawn on here. This is going to be perfect for us because we're going to be able to get that increase in weapon damage. You can go with Sentinel Shield, but the cooldown is significantly more. And with the amount of orbs that you generate, and you're going to have bubble up at all times. We have Shield Throw rather than Shield Bash because it plays into our exotic. We also have Vortex Grenade, but you can swap this out for Suppressor Nade if you want to go full overload. And also we have Towering Barricade because we'll be using that for more of a protection this time round. For the aspects, we have Controlled Demolition, which is hitting a target with a void ability or a volatile explosion makes them volatile. Further damage to the volatile target makes them explode, which is going to be very, very good. And also if you've got volatile rounds on any of your void weapons, you're going to be able to stun barrier champions. We also then have Offensive Bulwark here for the extra fragments, but also we get an overshield, and also our grenade recharges quicker, and our increased melee range is up as well. But you could swap this out for Bastion if you really wanted to be able to get your overshield a little bit more. But yeah, it's entirely up to you. But these are the fragments that I'm going to be running, which is why I've got Offensive Bulwark on. For the fragments, Echo of Provision, which is damaging targets with grenades, grants melee energy. You'll understand why in just a moment. We also have Melee Final Blows, grant grenade energy, so it's kind of a back and forth between those. Echo of Expulsion, which is void ability Final Blows, causes targets to explode. And then finally, Echo of Starvation, which is picking up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power, grants Devour. You can create these Void Breaches relatively easily, but yeah, other classes will be able to do them. I just have this here because if I pick up a bunch of Orbs of Power, I'm going to be able to get Echo of Starvation to proc. For the exotic in this build, it's not an exotic that you would expect. It is Second Chance. You gain a second charge to your shield throw, and also your shield throws become barrier piercing. So you can use this to punch through two barriers if you really want to. One of these will actually stop an unstoppable or stop a barrier champion in its tracks, which is really, really good. That comes into our weapon setup and champions. The reason why I've got this specific setup on is because I was just messing around with stuff. But for weapons, ultimately comes down to what you're using. If you're using barrier, use a Smite of Moraine, I would recommend, like here, or like a pulse rifle, and then potentially, you know, Wilder Flight, because you can also swap this out. I usually run this setup. I'm going up against Barrier Unstoppable because I've got Leviathan's Breath for the Unstoppables. I just got Wilder Flight because it takes advantage of Void. And then obviously Smite of Moraine does the barriers alongside with Second Chance. But if I'm doing Overload and maybe Barrier, I do run with Wave Splitter. And you can also run Deliverance as well, because we know how good Trace Rifles are, especially because you can suppress targets with this. But you won't be using this to overload as much. Sometimes you'll be using the Deliverance as well. But those are the weapons. Let's go into the mod setup. On our artifact, all you need to know is we have Volatile Flow, Bricks from Beyond, which is defeating a powerful combatant with a void weapon, has a chance to generate heavy ammo for your enemy, or for you and your teammates. And then we have Void Weapon Channeling, which is you gain a temporary bonus to your void weapon damage after you defeat a target with a void weapon. While you at least have one of those abilities is fully charged, the bonus increases all the way up to ×3, I believe. So, on our helmet, we have Void Siphon, because this is going to be the most important. We also have Heavy Ammo Finder, just because I have this on here. And then also Ashes to Acids, because this gives us more super energy on grenade kills. You could swap this out and put on Hands On if you really wanted to, but it's entirely up to you. I am running Kickstart here, but the reason why I'm running Grenade Kickstart over Melee Kickstart is for some reason this doesn't proc even if you throw two of the shields out. I've tested this a couple of times and for some reason it doesn't. So I'm taking advantage of Grenade Kickstart alongside Momentum Transfer, which is causing damage with your grenade, reduces your melee cooldown, and then also Heavy Handed, which is Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power. I could potentially swap these out for the grenades, but yeah, it's entirely up to you. I have double charged up on our chest piece to be able to get more armor charges or stacks of armor charge, and then also harmonic resistance, which reduces incoming damage for void damage. You can swap these out as well if you really wanted to get more resistances. We also have stacks on stacks and a void weapon surge to be able to give us some extra damage for our void weapons. Then innovation, which reduces the grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. And then lastly, we have double bomber to be able to get our grenade back when we use our class ability, and then Reaper to take advantage of it there. Wonderful, wonderful setup for all of the mods. There's another quick screenshot for you there. I highly recommend having a decent amount of strength, discipline, and resilience for this, because you'll be able to get back your, grenades and also your shields as well. And I love this setup. But let's talk about my overall thoughts on the build. This build will be pretty damn good for most legend content in the game. I did use this in a couple of legend lost sectors, and it is pretty decent. I don't know how it will fare in master content or in raids, because a lot of the time you need to have that damage output, which is when you use the Caress of the Fallen Star on a Titan to be able to get that super damage. But I do think that there is a wide range of champions, and it's very versatile, this build, purely because you have that barrier clearing option on your shoulders. Just being able to throw out 2 melees, which is fantastic. And then also you have Wave Splitter you can use Leviathan's Breath. There's a lot of different options here as well. You can even swap out the grenades to do what you want with suppressors, or thermite grenade, whatever you really want to use. It's entirely up to you. But I've had a ton of fun messing around with this build for like the last week to try and really nail it down. And I wanted to use an exotic that wasn't just the bog standard Heart of Inmost Light, or this exotic that is just everybody uses. And yeah, I think this is a very solid exotic, the Second Chance, and I'll be definitely using it a lot more with void builds in future if anything else changes with the subclass. But that's all we really have time for in today's build. Hopefully this has been helpful. If it has, please leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new, and tell me your favorite build down in the comment section down below. Turn on the notification bell to be notified when I bring out more content. And as always, this has been Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.